I'm Cara Cartagena. I am the Director of Getting Stuff Done at Payzli, and today we're excited to feature Payzli, a leading source in a leading force in the payment solutions industry. And we're really rocking and rolling. We're the cutting edge of fintech company, providing an all-in-one solution uh, in a platform that supports the business of all kinds, all sizes, and all levels. So we have a unique approach, and today what we're going to do is we're going to talk to our founders and discuss our Visa platform, our Visa partnership, which is just cutting edge. We love what we're doing with Visa. We love what we're doing in the industry. To date, we are about 100% growth rate from last year, which is incredible. And every month we're just killing it. And we're really excited today to discuss what we're up to. So with that, let me just introduce Kapil Prashad, who is our CTO. And then we're going to have a little roundtable here with Naeem Hamdar, our Chief Revenue Officer, and Arash, our Chief Risk Officer. These are the three founders, the driving force of this company and this industry. So Kapil, take it away.
Thanks, Cara. So I think I'll step back a little bit and provide some historical context on our relationship with Visa. So years ago, and a lot of entrepreneurs, I think, can relate to this story. There comes a point in time where you have to move from idea to actually getting to work and where, rubber meets the road, right? So we, during the Payzli journey, during the early stages of the Payzli journey, we kind of hit that moment and we decided to double down and continue. And we did a ton of research into actually building our own settlement platform. And, what happens sometimes when you reach these inflection points is you'll end up going down these very deep rabbit holes. I remember early on, I was up until 4 o'clock in the morning and doing research on how to, build our own settlement engine in a sense. And during that deep dive, we came across Visa Platform Connect, which was an intriguing thought at that time. And we really didn't understand what it meant, but I was super excited. And I remember speaking to Arash and Naeem about it that morning, like, okay, well, that sounds interesting. Let's continue digging down this rabbit hole. So we did. Eventually, the road led us to Madison Sherritt, and that was right around the time VPC was being launched. So, that's kind of an intro about how we got connected into VPC. It's a very interesting, different type of a platform for payment providers. It helps us bridge the gap between the legacy fintech space and the modern fintech space, if you will, and kind of just provides us with a holistic stack that benefits merchants, ISVs, partners, etc. With that said, I'm gonna share my screen here and showcase a small presentation. All right, Cara, is my screen visible?
It is not. Oh, hold on, let me hide this. Okay, here we go.
Okay, awesome. Here we go. So historically, if you look online,
any way to make that a little bit bigger, Kapil? Because I don't know if they can see that well.
How about that? Yeah. Does that work?
There you go.
Okay. Historically, if you look online, there's a consolidation of various different payments cases. Unified checkout flows have been enabled by Amazon Pay, Shopify, using technologies like tokenization, unified checkout. And you'll notice this, if you think back, the process of checking out, add something to your card, put in your shipping address, save your credit card, et cetera, et cetera. This multi-step approach. Now, with the advent of tokenization, you can check out in one click. Any Shopify website you visit, you can check out of that website with one click as long as you have your credit card information tokenized. You can see the same trend kind of taking shape also in the retail space with a partnership of Whole Foods and Amazon. Some of the stores that you walk into now, you can actually just throw everything in your shopping cart and walk out of the store, as long as, again, your credit card information is tokenized and saved in your Amazon wallet. And also, we've got AI, and there's been a lot of talk about AI and what that's going to mean for the broader fintech space. So these are some of the trends that have been taking shape and are taking shape in the fintech background. Our goal with the Payzli Visa partnership is to enable frictionless customer engagements for service verticals throughout the transaction lifecycle, from time of booking to the point of sale and beyond. So what the online big tech giants did for the online space, right? Payzli, in partnership with Visa, is looking to do for service verticals. Anything with an appointment booking. Think anything with an appointment booking. Hair salons, nail salons, tattoo shops. We've got a great partnership going with tattoo shops that Naeem can tell you more about in a bit. Therapists, etc. They have complicated use cases. Check in, check out, book your next appointment, notify the technician that you're here, etc., etc. All of that is being automated and made to be frictionless with Payzli. These are our initial target markets. Right now, we're launching Payzli POS in conjunction with Visa in the health and wellness segment. And soon we're going to be moving on to the tattoo space. And then we're also going to be targeting the psychology and therapy space. Our integration to Visa is a multi-pronged approach. We've integrated with the Visa tokenization service at the network level, so that once a customer books their appointment, it's tokenized across the Visa network, so that anytime that user logs in or pays with Visa Click to Pay, that same card can be used with one-click checkout, right? They're used in conjunction. We've also integrated. Yeah, Cara.
Could you just explain what the importance of tokenization?
Tokenization is really the key to this whole thing, right? It's essentially storing your credit card information somewhere in a secure way, right? So it can be used again and again without you having to type it in. In layman's terms, that's really what it comes down to. And if you think about how you check out on Amazon and on Shopify websites, that's how it works. It's a one-click checkout. Your information is saved. The other benefit of tokenization is highly secure, because you get what's called a token. You get a token to the credit card number. So the actual credit card number is actually never shared across the World Wide Web. It's only a number, an identifier, a token to the credit card number. It's a pointer to the credit card number, right? So imagine in this high risk world of fraud that we live in, right? The benefits of tokenization. If everyone adopted a tokenized payment processing platform, it would be impossible for fraudsters to get a hold of the actual credit card number. Or nothing is impossible in fraud, but next to impossible, I would say. Does that help, Cara?
Absolutely. Thank you.
We've also integrated tap to phone functionality, which you'll notice in a lot of these service verticals, hair salons, nail salons, tattoo shops, is that they have multiple employees, technicians, managers that are working in their space. And what they can do now is pay using their phones, right? Without a terminal, right? So, everyone's used to tapping. I think, tap adoption rates are past 70% now. The era of hardware-less, terminal-less payment flows is here and only growing. So Payzli POS allows those technicians, et cetera, to pay on their phones. We've also integrated the PAX A920 Pro as well. That way, our merchants can have a full point of sale Android touchscreen 15.6 with the PAX machine at the front of their stores. Their technicians can have Payzli POS on their phone. They can tap cards or on their phone to take payments. The front of the store, the checkout person there can use the PAX integration to take payments. And all of these payments, again, are tokenized, right? So in the future, when we have our Penny Payzli AI kiosk, that same individual that's coming in to get their hair done or their nails done, right, can simply walk up to the kiosk, check in for their appointment, their technician is notified, come back, pay at the kiosk as well with simply their thumbprint, facial recognition, what have you, or tapping their phone, right, and book their next appointment without ever taking out their credit card, right? So these technologies allow us to orchestrate this very friction-free payment flow, just like big tech giants have done in the online space that I was kind of talking about earlier. Does that make sense, Cara?
That makes a lot of sense. But what I am curious about is how are you leveraging the relationship with Visa with this technology?
Right. So click to pay, Visa token management service, and tap to phone, we're integrated with their SDKs. Their software development kits allow us to make use of all four of these technologies.
Got that. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we've built a highly scalable engineering stack based on .NET, Flutter. We've got apps for iOS, Android, web. We're running everything on DigitalOcean, which is super interesting. It's not one of the big three cloud providers. I love DigitalOcean. They're super startup friendly, amazing company. And we save a ton on costs, and we also get a lot more attention from DO. And just looking, a bit into the future here, we're going to be looking at supporting bringing your own hardware, bringing your own tablets, bringing your own phones, right? Again, I'll say, the era of terminal-less technology is here. Every business owner has tablets floating around, has phones floating around, right? So enabling Payzli POS to be able to run on any tablet, any phone. We've got a fairly large selection that we're testing against right now. That's happening. We've also got our Payzli POS, Penny Payzli, which is going to be an AI-enabled unattended kiosk that's going to be sitting right in store, in location, at the merchant's location, at the nail salon, at the barbershop, at the tattoo studio. Again, merchants can check in, check out, pay for transactions, and also book the next appointments. They can also create and post reviews through Penny Payzli. That's under development. And we're also looking at robotic process automation, but that's a long-term goal. So this kind of highlights the...
What about biometrics?
Biometrics are going to be... It's interesting. The biometrics use case, there are focus groups that have been done. There's a ton of data about the privacy concerns about biometrics. So our introduction to biometrics, we're going to utilize the phone, right? So that tokenized data will lie on the phone. And as long as you can authenticate by tapping your phone, that will enable the biometrics. We're going to start with that and see what the adoption rate looks like. Technologically, yes, we can implement fingerprint. Yes, we can implement facial recognition. But consumers do have privacy concerns, and the data does reflect that. So we want to choose the right technology that enables us to get the widest, to hit the largest market possible and get the highest adoption rates with biometrics. So we're going to start with phone tap and see where that takes us.
Fantastic. Anything from Naeem and Arash?
Yeah, so I think, look, as entrepreneurs, when you're launching a payment company and you're investing everything you have into this, you just want to build the best experience possible. So when we first started this and we came across path with Visa, it just felt right? It just made sense because, when you're building solutions, right, you kind of have to focus on specific things, right? And what we wanted to focus on was impacting the merchants and the partners, right? When you team up with Visa, you have access to amazing technology that is already there and developed, right? And now you can utilize that technology in order to really and truly make an impact for merchants. As Kapil mentioned, right? when you're, a salon owner, one of the biggest pain points, we have a decent book of business in the salon vertical. And one of the biggest pain point is having, a line of customers at the front desk. You have a line of customers waiting to check in, right? The lady at the front desk is answering her phone. Then you have somebody waiting to check out. And just that experience really is horrible, right? From a customer perspective. So the ability to, have tap to pay, and our ability to, build our solution on Flutter gives us access to Android and iOS. So now we can empower those technicians right at their chair, right, to check people out, right? And then, when we talk about kiosk mode, what's the benefit of kiosk mode? Well, you get rid of like the whole experience of having to wait in line to get checked in, right? You can walk up to the station and just check yourself in, right? And then how nice would it be? You just walk up, check yourself in, and then the technician comes up, takes you to your seat, does the service, checks you out right there, schedules you right on her device, right, for the next appointment in a streamlined fashion, and now you're out the door, right? So that experience we've already built into our point of sale. But in addition to building it in our point of sale, we make it accessible to ISVs, right? Anybody that wants to integrate with us can now take advantage of these solutions, right? So that's really the power of what we're building, right? We don't want to just answer these problems for our own point of sale system, but we want to expand on that, right? We want to provide next level solutions to the industry as a whole. And, Visa allows us to utilize payment solutions that they have already tested, designed, and perfected, right, in order to make that happen.
That's great. So I do have a question here. Nitin is asking, how about PWAs where every salon has their QR code and a person can book services on their phone? So that's a question we have from our LinkedIn community.
Yeah, absolutely. So PWA, progressive web app. So our apps function like progressive web apps essentially. So there's a PWA interface. Customers, merchants can embed the appointment links into their website, dish it out on social media, send it via email marketing campaigns. Customers can book via web. So there's no real need for PWA in terms of customer booking, even for, an app or a PWA. So there's a web interface to do that. That's the easiest possible way. But we do have a progressive web app launcher for Payzli POS. And I hope that answers that question. Right. Let me know if there's a follow-up.
All right, I will. There's a little bit of a delay in these questions, just letting you know. But Naeem, I just wanted to go back to you, and what I really hear is that what we're committed to as a company is that businesses can run their businesses efficiently, effectively, while also having a great customer experience, and that's what we're committed to.
100%. I mean, look, payments today has significantly shifted from where it was. Everything is integrated, everything is solution oriented. And as a payment company, if you don't have these things, you'll cease to exist, right? You have to bring solutions to the market, and not just any solutions, but impactful solutions that are either going to put money back into the business's pocket or, increase revenue, right? Or save them on OpEx, right? And I think, the opportunity with working with solutions that Payzli has to offer is we can do all three, right? And we think about that at the inception of building our technology.
Yeah, and the ISV space is super important because we love these solutions. We're acting as an ISV for our own point of sale, Payzli POS. So we've tested these technologies. We've tested it on our own software. ISVs are always looking for the best technology to integrate. They're not happy with the legacy payment space and what the big payment providers have been able to offer today, right? They're looking for more data. They're looking for more RESTful, better APIs. They're looking for next generation technology like tap to phone and push to card, not only for domestic but cross-border payments. And we're integrated slowly, and we're just getting started, but we're slowly integrating all of these into the Payzli Transact Enablement Cloud, and we're testing this, on our own products as well.
And you've been developing this for how long? Like you've been at this, and we have a team of 33 software engineers to back us up, and
A long,
we've been at it for a long time. I think Naeem and Arash will both attest to that.
Yeah.
That it's a little bit too long, but that's the way these things go sometimes.
Yeah.
But we do. We've been at this for about 3.5 years. We actually started during COVID, which was,
so tell us a little bit about your tech team and who they are, like as far as their capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely. Our software and security architect has been coding since he was 12 years old. Or no, 14, sorry. There's going to be a bio of him coming out next week on LinkedIn. In fact, we did a really nice bio with our social media team recently, and there's going to be a great bio of him. But he is one of the best engineers that I've ever met in my life, and had the luxury and the opportunity and the honor of working with. Alexei Piskarev. We have an amazing team of software engineers, quality engineers, and product designers. One key niche there is definitely much more tech heavy than most organizations. In fact, we are. I mean, the numbers show it. We have 33 tech team members, and on the operational side, it's less than that. So we led with tech, and finally, we're able to show the fruits of that labor. We're actually building two systems in parallel. Payzli POS, of course, which is our merchant-facing product, and then Payzli Connect, which is our kind of industry workflow platform and application for the fintech space. But more on that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're quite tech heavy.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you. Let's go a little bit to what we provide to our partners and our merchants with this Visa relationship. Naeem, if you could address that.
Yeah, I mean, a ton. Like real-time data is extremely important. Token management, Kapil spoke to it. But the Visa token, like, it has, benefits from an interchange qualification perspective. Right. There's a ton of solutions, right? Payzli Transact, the ability for partners, to sell solutions like NetSuite integrations, Oracle integrations, Salesforce integrations. I could talk forever about the enablement that we get with the partnership with Visa, right? But it's really like, when we deal with partners, it's like, tell us what you're looking for, and let's go to our solutions in order to provide you that outlet, right? And that's a really good problem to have, because as a partner, you're typically going and, sourcing accounts with this merchant service provider, and then this merchant service provider, and that merchant service provider. And the ability that, to work with a company like Payzli, where you have access to low-risk merchant accounts, high-risk merchant accounts, enterprise-level integrations, right? We have a point-of-sale system that we developed in-house. We have a ton of ISVs in our pipeline right now waiting to integrate to Payzli because of all the solutions that we have. So it's a bright future, and I think, any partner out there should look for a company that enables them, not puts them in a box, right? Typically, a lot of companies' strategy is like, okay, we sell this, go out and sell our solutions. For us, it's like we're a jack of all trades, and sometimes it hinders you in a way because you have so many things to focus on. But the idea is enablement, right? We want to enable partners in whatever vertical they play in, right? So if it's enterprise level accounts, we can do it. If it's mom and pop, we could do it. If it's, that plumber that's going, doing home visits and that doesn't want to spend money on equipment, we could do that as well. They could download the application and tap the phone, right? They don't even need a dongle. They need nothing. In fact, they don't even need to tap a phone. They could store a token and collect those tokens and automatically charge the merchant or the customer, right? So the idea is enablement. And, when we designed this company, we wanted to enable partners and give solution to merchants, right? And we have done that, in partnership with Visa. And, the solutions that Payzli has built from the ground up, our payment CRM. Our payment CRM, I think, is next level. I mean, we have things coming out, and I think it's okay to say here because, WSAA is next week, so we're going to announce it. But, we're going to be able to do real-time residual reporting, right? That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Imagine selling an account today, having them process for a couple of days, and instantly being able to forecast on a day-to-day basis what you're generating from that merchant account. That's power at your fingertips, right? And Payzli can bring that to you.
Yeah.
Just one thing, that quote, the full quote for Jack of all trades is Jack of all trades, master of none, though oftentimes better than a master of one, right? So we're really good at multitasking.
It has a bad connotation to it, right? But when you're in payments and, you look at the landscape ahead, right? And you're examining, okay, what's going to happen? Like nobody knows, like nobody could forecast out to you, like with precise prediction, what's coming down the pike. AI is like a game changer for everything. If you ask everybody, like, what's your plan for the next 5 years? People don't really have a plan. It's just like survive, right? That's their plan. Stay alive, right? So you kind of have to expand your product suite because, that's the only way that you can prepare for the future that's coming, right?
Okay.
Enable it.
Oh, thank you. Arash, I know you've been a little quiet here. We're probably trying to catch up on rest since he just had a baby a few days ago. So
he didn't have a baby. His wife had a baby.
He had a baby too.
Although by the look of it, you wouldn't know.
So tell us a little bit about, who you are in the industry and how you value this relationship with Visa, especially in the risk side of this.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Cara. First off, let me say that once again, thanks to you, we have Wisdom Wednesdays, Cara. So there's a lot of coordination and herding cats that goes on in the background. And, thank you very much for allowing that to happen and making it happen. So from my perspective, look, there's many different aspects and layers to the benefits of our relationship with Visa. Our business is pretty complex. There's many different layers to doing what we are doing, and if you want to do it right, every decision has an impact. Whether you're looking at the banks that you're going to partner with in this industry, or the platforms you're going to utilize, or platform you're going to utilize to process transactions. And for us, a very significant aspect, a significant layer of our business is Visa Acceptance Solutions. And something I want to share is that, one of the great benefits is that with partnering with Visa, we have been able to make improvements without making sacrifices. And what I mean there is that many times in business, you want to improve a certain process, you focus on that and you'll drop somewhere else. So an example I'll give there historically in our business is that, an ISO or a payment processor wants to become more aggressive, right? So they loosen their credit policy, increase their risk appetite, but their losses go up, right? So they're sacrificing here to give a better experience to the merchant on the front end, be easy to do business with, right? And that's the case many times in business. Now, a unique aspect of what we've done with Visa is that we have been able to achieve success and have improvements in not just the the frictionless onboarding of merchants, right? That's a big part of our relationship with Visa, very kind of PayFac-like, instant onboarding, immediately you go live, frictionless underwriting. And typically when you do that, you're not going to have as a strong performing risk side. You're going to take more losses, but we've been able to, through tokenization, through access to real-time data, and other, aspects of the relationship, we've been able to implement these improvements that, without having to, we talked about tap to phone, right? So tap to phone, not only is it that convenience, obviously, if you're an electrician or a plumber or a beautician out at your business and processing a transaction as simple as tapping a card to a phone, yes, that's not only frictionless and it's easy, but at the same time, you're leveraging the latest tech in security, right? That transaction is point-to-point encrypted, tokenized, so it's as secure as it can be, and it's frictionless. It's easy to do business with. So you're accomplishing this quantum leap in progress because you're not making these sacrifices. And risk monitoring is the same thing, right? You want to be a little bit easier on the risk side. Well, you better be ready to take more losses. That's just the reality of it. You're going to have to pay the piper, so to speak, either on one side or the other. But by leveraging this technology and our partnership with Visa, we have been able to implement systems and processes that not only provide a better experience and a seamless one and a frictionless one, but it's more robust. And so we're achieving this, like I said, quantum leap in progress.
So when you're talking about real-time data, do you mean like back in the day where there was phone, you'd have to wait for all these approvals, and then all of a sudden it's just like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me give an example, right? So historically in our business, the way that risk monitoring has been done, for example, the merchant will take the cards today, right? Run their transactions, they'll close out their batch, that gets settled, and the ISO or the PayFac or the processor does what's called next day monitoring, right? So you don't see that settled data until the next day you come in. And why is that problematic? Because nowadays there's a lot of market pressure to increase that funding speed, right? Everybody wants their money next day funding, if not same day funding. Now imagine if that merchant who runs the transactions, $100,000 in transactions, and it's all fraud, closes that batch and they're on next day funding. The next day when the ISO is looking at that data, the money is not only out the door, it's out the door and delivered. It's out the door and in the checking account of the merchant. So we're acting very reactively to the suspicious activity. Whereas when I say we have access to real-time data, that's at the point of sale. So the instant the consumer goes to pay the merchant, through our partnership with Visa, we have access in real time to that data, so we can instantly, our algorithms are running and detecting that suspicious activity within seconds, as opposed to the next day.
So they don't lose that inventory.
They don't lose that inventory, and we don't lose those dollars.
Mm-hmm. And we don't close down the account.
There you go.
Or freeze it. Okay, great. Anything to add on that, Naeem and Kapil, regarding the real-time data?
Real-time data, again, I'll go back to the use cases for ISVs and partners in the broader kind of fintech space. I think us having real-time data, that means that our ISVs and partners also have access to that real-time data. There's a ton of custom payments cases, use cases, data crunching, other features that ISVs can create and enable through access to our real-time data. If there's any, ISVs, product developers, et cetera, that are watching, it's tough. It's tough to get real-time data from payment processors, right? Historically. So, our goal is to be nimble and agile and furnish you guys not only with the SDKs and the tools that we have access to, that we create and leverage those, but also the data that we have access to. In fact, we're working with an ISV now on an enterprise level reconciliation use case, very specific and niche to their industry and their software. And we're going to enable exactly that. Real-time data access to specific fields that they need that will allow them to track things throughout the entire transaction lifecycle, which is going to change things for them. It's gonna make their software much more robust and scalable and relevant to their customers and enable them to generate revenue. So it's super important.
Before, there's a few questions out there, but before we move on, I'd really love to talk about where we can plug in, like what apps I know we could plug into Shopify. I'd love to talk about that. I'd love to talk about.
So there's 3 layers of kind of when you say plug in. So of course, software developers, ISVs, product developers, they're going to be at the ISV layer, and we have SDKs, we have RESTful APIs, we have embeddable software development kits that they can integrate into their software for card present transactions, like we said, for tap to phone, for these tightly coupled payments cases, right? Then second to that, we have, let's call it card not present, the card not present integration. There's a list of 35. Shopify, WooCommerce, there's a ton of them. There's all the major shopping cart providers are listed there, various other CRMs, HubSpot, etc. There's about 35 or 40 total integrations for the card not present online space. Then there's a third enterprise group, right? And here you have integrations with NetSuite, Oracle, NCR, other legacy major point of sales and things of that nature. Dynamics CRM. Dynamics is huge in the enterprise space. So is NetSuite for that matter. So we have that group. So again, one tightly coupled ISV, deep integrations there. More loosely coupled plugins, and that's kind of what you were alluding to, Cara. Just kind of expanded on it a little bit, and that's where most of the plugin integrations lie: WooCommerce, shopping carts, etc., and then enterprise applications such as Oracle and NetSuite. And you can publish a link. In fact, we have a brand new website coming out next week, which is going to simplify all of this. We're going to have all the integrations listed on there, et cetera, et cetera. So that's coming out next week. So if you guys want to check back, post our launch, everything will be on our website, clearly delineated.
Thanks so much. Okay, our next question is the payment system PCI DSS compliant?
Yeah, key. So this is the great thing about tokenization, right? What brings a entity into scope for PCI is the transference of the PAN, the credit card number, and credit card data. So that's the great thing about tokenization. All of our entire ISV integration SDK, the Payzli Transact enablement platform, if you will, the merchants, the ISVs, are completely out of scope. So if you're a product developer, you're an engineer, you're an ISV looking to integrate, know that you will not be in PCI scope, okay, for those transactions, whether it's the PAX integration, whether it's tap to phone. These are all certified. The certifications are held by Visa, so you won't have to go through the arduous audit.
Non-techie answer, yes.
You could tell they have a
parentheses. Parentheses, yes.
Here's the next question. Christopher's asking, I know this call is just to discuss our relationship with Visa, which is the behemoth here, right?
So let me take that one. I see the question. The question is it's primarily about Visa, and they have larger coverage. What about MasterCard, Discover, and Amex fraud? So through our VPC connection, the great news here is that it's access to all card types, including all the ones that you've mentioned and some that you haven't, right? So we get that access to real-time data, and we're able to process the transactions. We're able to go out and get the auths. We're able to capture. We're able to settle, and we're able to do risk management in real time across all those different card types.
And debit, and yeah. etc.
And in fact, to add to that, right? The reason that Arash mentioned, like, there's card types that you don't even see here because Visa's worldwide, right? And in many countries, Visa is both, an issuer and an acquirer, right? And that's part of the reason that it makes so much sense to do business with visas from a scalability perspective. Although we're focused on the U.S. today, but anytime where we want to grow past the U.S., Visa is a perfect partner for this, right? Because it allows us to scale and scale quickly. You can penetrate many different markets with ease without even having to establish an acquiring relationship.
That's next year.
I think it's an interesting question because Visa is traditionally known on the issuing space, right? Visa cards. But VPC is essentially an interface to VisaNet. And VisaNet is where all the action is. I always try to use this analogy of, the manufacturer, the wholesaler, and the retailer, right? The manufacturer of transactions in this case is VisaNet. That is where globally all payment transactions are transacted since this industry came to be. Now you have processors that interface with VisaNet, Fiserv, TSYS. You can call them the importers or the wholesalers. And then you have ISOs, which are kind of the retailers that interface to the processors who interface to the manufacturer. So Payzli is directly linked to VisaNet through VPC. And that gives us access to all card types, domestic and international.
Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about WSAA. Who's excited to go? I know Ross has to stay home, so we don't have the.
Yeah, I'm gonna bow out of this one. So definitely, you guys go out, have a great time. But one thing I also did want to add, just 30 seconds. Again, this excitement around our relationship with Visa. I think we're just scratching the surface of this, guys. This is very new. We're the second organization in the country to integrate, into VPC, and it's just scratching the surface. And we talked about tap to phone. Well, get ready for tap to everything, which, you're taking that concept of, running a transaction, running a sale on a phone or another similar device, and you can take that and utilize it in different ways. If you think of it from an underwriting perspective, right? You get a new account, a merchant is applying for a card, they download our app, and then to validate who they are, we have them tap their card to that phone. And that does so many different things from a risk perspective. IP geolocation, validating the CVV, validating the AVS code, the zip code that's on the card issuing bank, and comparing that to the merchant on file. There's so many different angles you can look at and leverage that technology, and we're just scratching the surface of it right now. So a lot more to come.
And to piggyback on what Arash just said, I always like to use the analogy. I mean, this is a box. At the end of the day, the piece of hardware, the NFC chip, as long as that exists in any given object, that object is now a payments device. So just to let the mind wander a little bit, I always like to use the analogy of imagine, parking in a parking space, and there's no parking meter, and you just literally tap your card on the cement. If the cement had an NFC chip in it, the cement could take your payment, right? I mean, it's kind of a edge case, but it just allows your mind to see the capabilities and truly what tap to anything could mean. Whether it's going to be a block of cement or not, I have no idea. But theoretically, we could enable that.
Well,
yeah, you might want to patent that block of cement.
I'm thinking about walking into the city of LA's office with an NFC block of cement. Let's see if we can get that business.
Well, with Arash saying that we're the second company, so why us? Why Payzli? Why the three of you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a massive lift. It's not like it's not like a 1-2 day thing, right? So when you're looking to get into payments or starting a payment company, you kind of have to assess, right? If you have an integration that's going to take you anywhere longer than 6 months, it may not make sense, right? So you come to a company like Payzli, which has done the hard work. We've gone through that integration, and just partner up with us, right? So we kind of set the path for this, and we're making our hard work accessible to you as a partner or an ISV, right? But to speak to the WSAA, I'm super excited, right? So I think Rosh won't be joining us, but Kapil is coming. This is the second time that Kapil makes it out to an event. Usually it's just Arash and I tagging along. But this is the first time Kapil's coming. I'll also do a plug for Alex Nelson. Alex Nelson, our VP of Sales, VP of Business Development, will be joining us as well. And we have our national recruiter as well coming on along, Peter Falatico. Look, we're super excited to meet everybody there. This is the first time we will have a booth, and we're going to showcase our solutions. So definitely stop by our booth. Come get a demo of Payzli Connect, the payment CRM. Come get a demo of Payzli POS, and let's chat. I mean, learn about Payzli Transact. We'll have a ton of material there to showcase kind of what we've been working on all these years.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Cara, if it's okay with you, I want to jump briefly back to your question of why VPC, why Payzli, why did we do it so early on? And we were such willing, I would say, willing and happy guinea pigs there. And that's okay. But look, we've been in this game a long time, and we saw the writing on the wall, right? There are legacy platforms. There are old platforms that are running on, decades old mainframes, right? That, don't even fit into a football stadium in some cases. And, this infrastructure, their day is coming, right? And we saw that. And we viewed our partnership with Visa as a way to sidestep that legacy path and kind of chart a new course, one that is, not to use the cliche, but it's in the cloud, it's integrating state-of-the-art technology, and we're just scratching the surface of the capabilities, because we have all seen in all different industries that disruption happens, right? And we don't want to be beholden to a single platform where not only are you restricted and limited by the capabilities of that platform, but let's face it, I mean, you're held hostage many times. I mean, from a service and SLA perspective, like you're just sitting there and wondering when they're going to get to you, right? And this allows us to sidestep that legacy infrastructure and chart a new course.
Yeah, exactly. And then just to kind of piggyback on that, I mean, one word, agility, right? That's what this payments industry, that's what you have to be. You have to be agile in this space. It's so fast moving. It's so dynamic. And this partnership is the parkour of the payment space. It allows us to be agile and nimble, and technology is changing. AI is kind of starting to take shape. Security, fraud detection. These things evolve on a month-to-month basis, on a week-to-week basis. So being agile is key as the CTO, and this partnership allows us to do that.
Yeah, I think you guys are being a little bit modest, so I want to acknowledge the three of you. Arash, his former employer was Fiserv. He was the VP of Risk, Credit, and Compliance. And Naeem, Naeem's the entrepreneur, and so is Kapil, but Naeem has been in this industry almost 2 decades as a partner to Card Connect, and he knows what it's like to pound the streets and manage people and performance. And Kapil has also done some work with in the fintech space with Fiserv, right? Kapil, you did some stuff with Fiserv and apps.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, to me, it's like the perfect recipe for the Payzli cake. So I'm really happy to be here. I love that this is this team. We don't really make each other wrong. We just look at what works, what doesn't work, and let's move on and get this done. So
yeah. Thank you, Cara. I think it's the complementary nature of what we bring to the table is kind of where the magic happens, right? Not to toot our own horn, but that's the reality of it, right? Like my lane is very different than Naeem's lane, which is very different than Kapil's lane. You know, I bring compliance, risk, underwriting. Naeem brings decades of sales and running an ISO successfully. Kapil's consulted for payments and fintech for 2 decades plus. These are very different lanes, and in our business, typically the organization is launched by a very one-dimensional skill set, and typically it's sales. There's nothing wrong with that, but what ends up happening is there are shortfalls when that happens. We've really tried to take that 360 look at our industry and the various aspects of it and address all of those things within the ecosystem that we've created.
Thank you so much. So I just want to close and announce our booth number. It's 421. On our website, you can actually Shiv, if you wouldn't mind posting this in the LinkedIn chat, just putting the website or the link for people to book appointments beforehand, because we are really looking forward to scheduling appointments in Vegas. We'll have our engineer, one of our engineers there with Kapil, and we'll also have one of our national sales managers who's in charge of partnerships. So
that's right. Alexei is going to be there.
Alexei's going to be there.
The man of the hour.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
All right. Well, thank you. If anyone has any questions, we can wait a couple more minutes. I know there's a little delay on LinkedIn, but I want to thank you all. This is fun. I was a little nervous at the beginning because we haven't done this in a while, but it's okay.
Look, I have to admit, like it's nice having all three of us here. Just the complimentary answering of the questions. This is nice. We should do this. Once a quarter.
We're doing it in 2 weeks.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We have a lot more going on, and everyone can experience the bromance here, and and the family atmosphere. And 2 weeks, we're going to talk about what you guys learned throughout this process. What you think the trends are going to be. So in 2 weeks, we'll have another event with the three of you, and then as the fall progresses, we're going to talk more about tech with Kapil, because he's been buried for the last 3 4 years, and he is finally resurfacing. So he's going.
I'm real. I exist. Yeah.
All right, great. So we're in booth 421 at the WSAA, and here's the link right here to book a meeting with the Payzli team.
Yeah, look, just one thing on that, Cara. Like, we really want to set up meetings with you, learn about you, tell you a little bit about Payzli. So use that link and schedule time with us ahead of time. We already have a bunch of things lined up, but we still have some gaps in schedule. So please use that link. And there is 5 of us going out, so there's plenty of opportunity to meet with us.
And if anybody wants to direct message me on LinkedIn and you'd like a meeting beforehand, I can arrange that. Anything that has to do with ISVs, e-commerce sites, please direct message me on LinkedIn. With that, thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you in 2 weeks, Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday, 4 p.m.
Thank you, Cara. Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye.